Hi, Mark Anthony Lord. We're so delighted to have you here joining us tonight. So, what are
I
we going to talk about tonight?
I am so happy to be with you. This is one of my favorite things to do, to be of service in this particular way. It's a gift. So thank you, those who are joining live. And if you're listening to this recording later, just grateful to be with you. And the intention is to support you in awakening the spiritual side of within you and program. So vision that this becomes larger and larger and becomes a larger and larger conversation. So thank you for being a part of tonight. Tonight, the folks I have two
Oh,
because
great.
in February, I do one of the month focus. My focus. I'd like to begin our time together with some mindfulness, with some meditation practice. So if you're new to that, please know that your intention to practice, your intention to breathe and become still is all that your higher power needs. Really, your higher power will more than meet you halfway with your intention to practice. And for many people, especially my brother and sister addicts, and I qualify and relate to this challenge. If you're in the beginning phases, the mind can just be so loud and so all-consuming that it can overwhelm us and kick us out of the practice. And very often people will say, "I can't meditate." What they're really saying is, "I can't seem to sit still inside of all of the noise." So know you're not alone if that happens. And hopefully tonight, with us doing it together, just for 3 to 5 minutes, very short time, hopefully you'll be able to just hang in there with me and with us. And I really, all I know is consistent showing up for the practice is what does it. Because I assure you, I am one of the people that could not sit still with the voices in my head. And I'm now one of the people that can touch stretches of silence within me that are beautiful is the only word I have.
Oh, that's
They're not
great.
just, yeah, they're not just quiet. They're like, I see light. I feel a present experience being present in such a beautiful way. So, and again, I'm the guy that couldn't sit still. So if I can do it, you can do it. So with that, let's begin. I invite you to close your eyes if you can, if you're in a place where you can do that. And we do that to take our focus off of the external world. Closing our eyes allows us to turn inward and feel that breath slow down. Take a nice long inhale through the nose, breathing in. Hold the breath when you're full for a few moments. Hold it. And exhale. As you exhale, imagine the spine lengthening and the body relaxing. Breathe in again through the nose, nice and slow, filling the body up. And when the body gets really full, hold it for a few seconds. And exhale again, feeling the body relax even more. We're going to do that a third time. Breathing in through the nose, nice and slow. Expand, 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 and hold it. And exhale. Feel the body relax even more. And I invite you to focus on the breath. Just keep your attention there. Nothing to think about. Just be here now, breathing. Release the thought. If there's a thought that's in your mind, just release that. Return to your breath. I invite you to see if you can bring your attention down into your heart. And I even like to place my hands on my heart to put my attention there, and maybe bow your head just a little bit. And invite yourself, just ask your heart to help you be fully here for this conversation. Imagine that your higher power as a presence of light is right in the center of your chest, in the center of your heart. And ask your higher power, help me to be fully present here. Please let this time spent here be meaningful to my recovery. And may this time here help me to have a deeper, more fulfilling relationship with you, my higher power. So we ask for this, and we set the intention that this can be fulfilled. And let us move into, before we open our eyes, speaking the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, and open your eyes whenever you're ready. I just love doing that. Part of my challenge is I get in there and it is so quiet. I don't want to talk. I don't want to lead it. I just want to be. So,
well, here's another perspective. Every time you said, let the thoughts go, it was just right when my thoughts were going, oh, I need to send that email. I need to do whatever. And I had to bring so I really appreciate that you did speak, because otherwise I'm scattered. So I have a long ways to go with this practice. So I appreciate the invitation to learn.
Good. And I really do. I love it. And I really just follow the inspiration of my higher power. I have such a, and I like to talk about this candidly with you and whoever's here, because I just want to help as much as I can. Like, I have such an intimate, living relationship with my higher power. Like, it is very alive, and it's inside of me, and it's so loving, and it's just all the promises of the program, and it's all the unconditional love that I need, and the guidance. Like, it's all inside of me. And that's why I'm so passionate about this conversation, because I was an addict in the back roads, in the back alleys, just absolutely putting my life in danger in so many ways. So to have this kind of a connection when I was so profoundly disconnected is the gift of the program.
Right.
So that's the conversation we're here to have tonight. And help me, Tammy, if I'm missing a part of this when I say participants, please feel free to, anytime during this conversation, they can just write a question in the chat box, correct?
In the chat or in the Q&A. If it's a question and you want to put it in the Q&A, we can follow those pretty easily, but it's a small group, so I can definitely follow the chat as well. So feel free to ask questions or make comments. We're happy to have that be incorporated as part of our evening.
Yeah, it's always nice to do that. And and you can remain anonymous in this time together, correct?
Yes.
Great.
You can send it anonymously, and it would be read. Anything that I read for you is read anonymously. So yeah. So this is really super safe place. So chime in, share your thoughts, and in fact, we have one now.
I'm on step 2 right now. Do you have any
Oh,
guidance for how to
yes.
approach this step?
Yes.
Yay! Thanks. Oh, awesome. You know what? Let me start a conversation and see if this will help, and then we'll talk about how to approach this step. So the second step is came to believe a power. Why am I blanking?
That a power greater than ourselves could restore us to
Restore us
sanity.
to sanity.
Mhm.
Thank you. Came to believe in a power greater than ourselves, that it can restore us to sanity. And, you know, I've heard lots of leads where people break the words down and things like that. And that can be very inspiring also. But the key point for the conversation today is came to believe that a power greater than me. So this is the point in the program, really the first step where it says there is something greater than the addiction. There's something that is capable of assisting me in recovery. And that's something in my experience, and I believe in the teaching of the 12-step program or the spirituality program, is the higher power. Now, that for some people, that's God. And for some people, that word God causes people to just, you know, pivot, turn out the door. But please know that the word God is just one word. You know, that's what's wonderful about the program. Came to believe in the power of love, came to believe in the power of the connection to the program, came to believe in a higher wisdom. You know, anything that will assist you, anything that feels like it's greater than my addiction. That's really bottom line what I'm seeking to create an experience of. Because in the addiction, it was all consuming, morning, noon, and night. And if I wasn't in the addiction, I was kind of strategizing for when it would happen next. I mean, it was really an all consuming experience. And it really was me for me on my own. So the step says, wait a minute, there's something else. Now, the work, and I've talked about this a lot, but this will really be the thing that I keep harping on, is that my experience of this God or this higher power from my childhood was not a positive one for me. So when I'm like, well, I can't go back to that power, that isn't going to work for me because I don't believe in it and I don't feel connected to it. And the God concept got very broken for me. So part of the 12-step recovery experience for me is healing and creating a new concept. We've got some past webinars where we actually did some exercises along that. So you may want to, if you're interested in taking a deeper dive into how could I create a new higher power, you can explore some of the past webinars where I actually led you through a complete exercise on how to do this. But on this step, came to believe in this higher power is a process. And that was my experience. It was over time where I started to have a new experience and new ideas about this higher power. And for me, it really was in relationship to going to some meetings and listen to other people talk about their experience that was other than mine. So that helped me expand through the practice of the prayers, the simple prayers of the program, the Serenity Prayer that we start with and close with. That started shifting my experience and my understanding of this higher power. But for me, there was a point where in the subsiding of the acting out, even for short periods of time, or periods of time that got longer and longer and longer, it was in those stretches of time where I started to experience a connection to something else inside of me that wasn't the addictive pull. It was really a return to a self in me that always was there. I don't mean to get too far out for a moment, but when I think about it, I think about around age 4. That's when I got disconnected from the fabulousness of me. That's what I'm going to call it.
Oh,
The
interesting.
fabulousness of me, the higher self, that power center. You know, it was around age 4 where the disconnection occurred for me. I just know that. I know that from my own work and things like that. So as I was coming to experience a higher power, start coming to experience a new idea about what that would be, I had an experience where I went back in meditation, actually. I think it was a guided meditation, working with someone, back to that 4-year-old time. And I literally felt a reconnection within like the center of my being. I felt myself plug back in. And that's actually, we're going to do a little bit of experience coming up where I guide you in the process of plugging back in. And in doing that, I felt something begin to shift inside of me. And then over time, my faith did grow in this power. I'm refraining. I'm stumbling a little bit on words because I'm trying not to use the word God intentionally, because I want to really keep it supportive. But for me, and this is what is my experience, the word God absolutely works. It is what I know it to be, but it's all inside of me. It is a loving presence. It's nothing that I was taught as a child. So came to believe in this power, that it could restore me to sanity. I love that word. I love that word because it implies that is restore me to that, meaning that exists inside of me as a state of being. And that if sanity is the restoration, addiction is insanity.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I had no issue with that because I was insane. Like I really could embrace early on, no issue. It was like, I really understand that I'm insane in my addiction. And whatever the opposite of this is called sanity, I want that. And the step says, restore me to it, which means it's present in me. So do you have thoughts on that, Tammy? I see you nodding.
Well, I do, because I was, like the whole thing, restore me to sanity. I love what you're saying, that, that gives you a sense that you believe that was already there. I was sitting here going, like, I wonder if I believe that there, like I've accepted step 2, all of that. But I think there's always been a little piece of me that questioned, was I ever really sane? But I really love that you're saying, yes, you absolutely were. And there was this true piece of you, and you just got derailed. And I totally get the addiction, was insane. Somebody popped in and said, I feel insane in my addiction. I totally get it. Totally all there. The stuff that, anybody looking from the outside would be going, what? But that's just, that's what I did. That's how I functioned. And it was the all-consuming, all of that type of thing. So I really love that you're saying it was there, and, you just disconnected from it somewhere along the line with addiction.
Yeah. And for many people, there is no memory of it. I didn't really have a memory of it. You know what I mean? And although I do have this sense, I don't know why, I just know at age 4, there was a conscious decision. Really, the conscious decision was, I can't be me. It's not okay to be me. That's what I talk about. At age 4, I knew I couldn't be me. And that's when this other thing started to take over inside of me. But even if you don't even have a memory of being sane, even if like you were raised in an insane family who had insane, you know what I mean? If it was all around you, it's like, I don't have any memory of it. It's not about memory. It is about an established fact. And I know this for me, and I know this for everyone else. Even if it's like you were just born, it's your spirit. Call it your spiritual nature. Your spiritual nature knows how to be sober. It knows what you need. It knows the purpose for your being. This spiritual part of you, the higher power, the higher self. That's a nice word to trade out. Higher power, higher self. That part of you is encoded. It's encoded with your joy, your hope, your purpose, your, helping you. And and it has a guidance system within it. It really, I'm just being full out. That's what I know. It has inside of it a guidance system, meaning when you surrender to your higher power, you let it lead. You over and over come to believe in this power, come to believe in this power, come to believe in this power. Many, many, many people tell stories of synchronicity. Suddenly life starts working. Suddenly, things just start shifting and happening, and there's more of a flow that you're experiencing in your life. To me, that is because I want tangible results.
Oh yeah.
This is not just theory.
Yeah.
And spirituality is funky to talk about. So it's like, okay, I love spirituality because it has proven itself in my life. So there's a saying that I love. It's called pain pushes until vision pulls. And
Okay.
it's very true for me in my life, and I think for many people. And as addicts, we can go, yeah, the addiction, the pain is what kept on. I couldn't take the pain, finally. It was causing too much pain, and I had to do something about it. And then I'd forget. And then I'd, find myself falling down again. But it really was the pain that I was in that kept me coming back. And then over time, it shifted to where the pain was less and the possibility of who I could be because of the program, because of my spiritual work, that started pulling me forward and pulling me away from the addiction. And I love that that's how I experience my life more and more today. But I love that vision for every one of us here. You may be in pain. The addiction may be what's causing you to show up. And that's fine. The pain is working for you in that case. We need the pain so that it will push us to shift. But through our spiritual practice, we can move it, we can switch it more quickly to where vision, purpose, higher power is pulling us into a more and more and more fulfilling life.
I love that. And I agree with that because it did take pain. When the pain of change was less than the pain I was experiencing, that's when I changed. But I don't need that now. I do have the vision, and I have this vision for where I want to be spiritually, whatever, the joy, the spiritual gifts, really, the joy and peace. I don't handle the discord in my, we've talked before, I'm very much centered in my gut and all of those. And so when my gut's off and I'm like, ooh, that's not a good place for me to be. And I know that, and I know it's my spiritual disconnect. So I need to get back on the beam. And so I very much don't tolerate the pain well, but I do get a vision of, I want it to be this way, and I'm willing to work for that without having to go through a lot of intense pain to have to guide me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm guessing there was a time early on when you could tolerate a lot more pain.
Oh, it was all pain. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, yeah.
It wasn't that I tolerated, I didn't know any way to not have it. So I mean, do you tolerate it? Yes, because you are hanging on to be in recovery, and they're telling you that it's going to get different and it's going to get better if you just keep doing what we're, sharing with you. And I believed that. And so maybe that was a little bit of the vision for, I believed them as a higher power that it worked for them. So it might even work for me. So,
yeah. Another way to think about this pain or this insanity, to remain on the second step is I've heard it called as kind of like experiencing like a hole inside of me, an emptiness. And I definitely can say I felt it, that hole, and it was insatiable. And I kept trying to fill it with things that weren't going to actually fill it. I mean, I think we understand that in this conversation. That's what the addiction is, trying to fill a hole with substance, with sex, with relationship, with obsessions of whatever kind, trying to fill the hole with something that would never, ever, ever work. Now, my experience is, and what my invitation tonight is that hole also is the portal. When we flip over the concept, that hole, that emptiness, that place in us is also the place, if we will dive into and allow ourselves to explore, becomes the very place where we discover the passion and the vision and the hope and the reconnection to life. So that hole, when we turn within, we can find our higher power. We can find that something inside of us. So that's the journey I'm going to take us on tonight. It's a simple guided meditation. And when I do guided meditations, I invite you to just follow along, let whatever images come to you, just kind of enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. Some people actually see pictures and images in their mind. That's kind of how I'm wired. Other people just have just thoughts or more of ideas come to them. So however it works for you, most importantly, you can't do it wrong. Just enjoy it. So I'm going to take us on an inner journey. We'll explore and we'll see what you can discover for yourself around a deeper faith and connection to your higher power, and hopefully a bit of a vision that can begin pulling you into a more spiritually connected life. All right. So I invite you, I'm going to close my eyes. I invite you to do the same with me. Connect with that breath. Nice deep inhale through the nose. And exhale, feeling the body relaxing. And I'm going to invite you to imagine in your mind's eye, see a big whiteboard with all kinds of writing on it, words and pictures. It's just kind of graffiti like on this big whiteboard. And that represents all the thoughts and the crazy mind and all of the insanity that's pulling you in all these directions. And imagine a big hand, it's your higher power hand, coming in with an eraser and just begins to erase that whiteboard, wiping off all the words, the stories, the images, representing a clearing of thought, a relaxing of the mind, letting your higher power erase, even in the corners, until it becomes just a white board, no thought, looking at a pure whiteboard. And I'm going to invite you to just scan your body. And I'm going to say to you, there's a hole. There's an emptiness, a hole. It's somewhere in your body. And just scan and see where you locate it. Very often people find it kind of in the stomach or below the rib cage or in the heart. But it can be anywhere. And as you locate that, just notice it. Breathe into it. Mine is right in the middle of my gut. Bringing your attention to this hole. Imagine yourself just kind of diving into it and just floating down deeper and deeper. Going down, floating down, until you land in a beautiful garden. Just kind of plop there, kind of like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz when she lands in Munchkin Land. You land in this beautiful garden. And you just kind of look around and notice the beautiful flowers, the greenery, the shrubs. However large or small, just notice deep within you, there's this beautiful sanctuary. And as you begin to enter the garden, you see yourself as a young child. 3, 4, 5, whatever age appears to you. And as you approach this young child, this young part of you, invite it to take a seat with you on a bench nearby. And just notice this beautiful little child. And invite this child to cuddle up next to you if he or she can and will. And ask this child if it's okay for you to pet their hair and to just caress them for a moment. Welcome this beautiful, innocent child. And say to this child, I am here for you. I am here for you. I see you. And imagine that this child is feeling seen and appreciated and loves being by you. And ask this child, what do you love? Tell me what you love to do. Tell me what you love to think about. Tell me about you. And let your little child tell you who he or she is, what he or she loves, what he or she dreams. My little child says how much he loves to dance and to perform and just loves to spin around and shine his light, and he loves being fabulous. He's a very dramatic little boy. Just sharing that to give ideas of what's possible. And ask this little child, what is your purpose? What are you here for? And see what he or she says. Mine says he's here to shine his light and to play. He loves to play. Let him or her know that you hear them and appreciate them. Let them know that you're here for them. And now entering on the other side, you see this big, beautiful light, this being, this higher power self that is pure joy, pure love, entering and sitting next to you. And this higher power says to you, I am here for you. So you've got your little child on your left side or on one of your sides, and the higher power comes to you on the other side on the bench and says, I see you. You have a beautiful purpose. I'm here for you. And the higher power says to you, what do you love? Who are you? Take a moment and tell your higher power, with your little child by your side, who you are today and what you love. What's important to you? What makes your heart sing? What's the vision of your heart? Tell me. Your higher power says, I want to know. Tell me the vision of your heart, of your life. And your higher power says to you, I am always here. I am always listening to you. You have a beautiful purpose. You have a reason for being. You can do amazing things. I am here for you. And the higher power's love wraps around you, and you wrap around that young child, and you're like the Holy Trinity with you right in the middle, with the highest power of love there for you and guidance, and the sweet, innocent part of you. This is a connection of wholeness. This lives inside of you. And this is the relationships. These are the relationships that fill this hole. I invite you to begin bringing your attention back into your body, back into the room that you're in, bringing with you any insights, any connection that you felt, anything that you want to remember, either in relationship to the little child or in relationship to the higher power, higher self. And open your eyes whenever you're ready. This is really a wonderful time to grab a journal, either when we finish up or even in the chat box. Feel free to share any insights that you gained from that simple experience, that little guided experience, which was meant to reconnect you to that young, innocent part and to connect you to the higher self. And as you turn the attention to your that innocent, fabulous part of you that's young and beautiful and free, and you stay connected and care for that part of you, you'll notice that the higher self is offering you the same gift. Now, they're all you. They're all aspects of yourself, but it's the way to connect. So feel free to share in the chat box any experience you had, any insights you gained. And while we're waiting for that, how was that for you, Tammy?
I appreciate guided meditations like that and those visuals. That's really helpful for me. I'd done one previously too where it was like giving the hug to my former self and everything in a loving manner, and it was a very healing experience for me as that. And this was different in that, I like the innocence, and I really like that thinking about a younger me being innocent and before the addiction took over and all of that, which I think helped me connect to restore us to sanity. Because yes. I was like, yeah, I wasn't off in my addiction and craziness then. So there was an innocent me that was young, and I have grandkids, so I actually kind of got to cheat and have the, snuggling up with, one of my granddaughters and things too. So that, that was helpful too. I love the visual of having my higher power. That just felt like lightness and warmth and love, intense love. And thinking of that spilling over into my present self, but even into the innocent child that you sometimes struggled with feeling loved, just family circumstances and things like that. It was, it was nice to feel like it was always, like you said, is always there. And so it was always there, even if I wasn't feeling it in the moment. I can appreciate that it was there. So.
Yeah. So the second step to stand, that came to believe in this power. And that was an experience. The more inner work I do, the more I believe in this power. The more what you just described, this loving presence, I believe in it when I give it time, when I take time to commune inside. I see there's a question. Do you want to read
There's a
that?
couple of questions, but there's a comment. I'm going to read that first. So
Yeah.
I'm in tears. My mind went to my childhood and a lot of anger towards my family, but at the same time, looking forward to higher self. I felt really proud of myself for making moves forward for a few years ago in search of my higher self, still working on that. Still don't have precise answers, but I love the few friends I have in my life now.
Nice.
Well, and I'm thinking I want the few true friends rather than the entourage that doesn't really love or care about you. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really
And
valid.
it is beautiful. And I want to thank you for writing this, because a lot of people can go back into their childhood with these kind of experiences, and it is difficult to find any peace, or it's difficult to find any innocence if we go back to our experiences that were painful and scary and traumatic. So this is where I really invite you. I promise you, inside of you is that beautiful, innocent child that isn't carrying the pain and the burdens of all of that, which is very, very valid, and that our work to do. But just like there's a higher power inside of you that is guidance and loving and does not carry the history of our pain, it only carries our solutions and our answers. We also have that beautiful, precious child inside of us that we can get related to. So thank you for bringing that point up. And there's another one. How do we find our vision, purpose, higher self? I just moved to a remote area. I'm almost always alone, terrified of being alone with my thoughts when I spiral. I'm tired and angry of what filling myself up with smokes, sex, alcohol. I no longer believe in dogma of any religion, but do believe in Creator God. What is this higher power in simple terms? Thank you for your very, very honest sharing tonight. I'm interested in what Tammy has to say, but I will say that, Tammy, go ahead. You can answer that. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. Higher power in simple terms. Higher power is the love that is inside of me. It is the part of me. It is my spirit. And my spirit has a different vantage point and viewpoint about the experiences that I went through in my life. My spirit is kind of the part inside of me, my higher power, my higher self, higher power, sorry, is the part inside of me that was never hurt or harmed or injured. It is a pure part in me that loves. That's what it is in my experience. Pure, unharmed, whole, and beautiful. So that's how I describe it. Do you have a thought about that?
Yeah, I go to love. It's that pure love that isn't conditional love. The unconditional
Yes.
love that's love no matter what. I don't like using these terms anymore. Whether I'm bad or good, I don't really use those much for myself, but I used to all the time because that was part of my, I'm the shame of the addiction. But so it's the love that is unconditional, that no matter how good or bad, whatever I do, it doesn't matter. And I do believe that, that permeates me, as well. So.
Yeah. 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 And it grows. The experience of that's the experience that grows. That's when we say came to believe in this power. It will grow and grow and grow as you give it time, as you give it attention. So,
There's another question. I really, really struggle with confidence, and logically I know I shouldn't. Others are always shocked, etc. So what I hear you saying is people perceive that I'm a very confident person, but on the inside you're not feeling that way. How do I shake it off? How do I solidify myself concretely? My spiritual nature muscle needs to be exercised on a whim every day when I really feel shaky. Help. Thanks. So.
Yeah, thank you for the sharing tonight. I really appreciate it. Um, I cannot stress enough, 5 minutes of meditation in the morning, 5 minutes of meditation in the morning. And I'll end this time together with something that I do to start my day, that you can go back to throughout the day. So that's a way to do it. But your insides aren't matching your outsides. That's really what you're describing. Please know that that's so common. That is a common dis-ease. And the spiritual solution that recovery offers is that there will be a day when the inside and the outside matches, when there's an integrity of alignment, and that is peace, that is joy, that is connection. It's a beautiful thing. And we get there through our prayers, through our practice, through our program, through our steps, through our friendships, through our therapies. There's all these ways that there's 20 roads minimum, leading us to this kind of a connection. But your willingness to just own that and out that and be honest about it is a great first step. And you can actually bring that to the first step. I'm powerless over feeling inadequate or not confident. I'm powerless over this. And my life feels unmanageable. I believe there's a power greater than this that can restore me to sanity. It's right there. Step 1 and 2, step 3 is next month, but it's right there around the corner. It's my favorite step. So thank you for sharing that. And because I know we want to end a little early.
I've got a couple thoughts on this. So one of them is what I heard with that is fear. And, and this, somebody told me early in recovery that fear is lack of faith. And I so didn't want that I was really willing to engage in, if I was feeling fearful, it's like, how can I leap into the faith of it, of like, I can be a confident person, and, and if people are reflecting that back, I think that's a place to start too. Somebody also said, I reconnected with my playful and loving self as a child. It's amazing that I forgot that the child is me. I got really emotional during the meditation. That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is really beautiful. And, every time I do something like this, I don't know about you, Tammy, but it's so simple. Play more. Allow myself to have some fun. For me, it's like I can just get to work. I can be serious. You know what I mean? And I forget how healing, taking some time to hang out with the little child in me, to breathe, to go to the beach, to relax, to play. So that's one of the things I got tonight. So I'm grateful for this evening that I can reconnect to. That's what that little child in me needs. And that's what, I'm going to say too, that's what the adult needs.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Fun is good. So
it is good. So thank you for coming tonight, hanging out with us. Thank you, Tammy. I'm going to do a little closing guidance thing that I mentioned. It's a great way to start your day. I invite you to please do that morning practice. Really spend time, a little bit of time talking to your higher power, talking to that little child, really getting those connected inside of you and seeing how that increases your ability to know what your higher power is. So again, we turn within one more time. I take a nice deep breath. And as I exhale, I imagine a golden carpet, like the red carpet, rolling out from me, from my heart, a golden carpet. And it goes before me throughout my entire day. And this carpet is unconditional love and acceptance. And I walk on it all day long. It goes everywhere I go. I imagine this golden carpet, this golden light going to the meetings that I'm going to have today. It's going to go to everything that occurs. And everything that comes to me today comes to me on this golden carpet. And everything that comes to me today comes to me because it is for me. Life is not against me. Life is for me. and my higher power is here. Everything that comes to me today comes to this carpet of love and acceptance, and it becomes the gift that helps me see myself, that helps me become a better me, that helps me to see others from the place of love and acceptance. So this day is the perfect day. Love leads, and I walk on this golden carpet. This is what I accept for myself. And that's how I start my day, my friends. I just take this moment to imagine that rolling out before me. I walk on it all day long, and everything that comes to me is perfect. I invite you to consider giving that a try. I promise you, it will begin changing the way you experience your life. So thank you so much for your time, everybody. We're here every Thursday night exploring the spirituality of the program. If you enjoyed your time here, please share this with your friends. We'd love to grow this audience and grow this conversation. And thank you so much for your time, Tammy.
Oh, thank you, Mark. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.